Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi. You are watching MNT News Network. Every Sunday we have the subject in English. So today's subject will be in English. We'll be discussing a very important topic. The topic for today is how to uproot Brahminism and capitalism from Indian politics. We have a speaker, Mulnivasi Dr. Ayaz Ahmad, Fulbright visiting scholar at Philosophy Department, Columbia University, New York. So he is connecting from the New York. We will be discussing this very important topic with him. I want to request you that please do share this video. It is on the YouTube and Facebook to your family and friends and relatives, and be the part of the this MNT News Network and this Mulnivasi movement. So let us invite today's speaker on the screen and welcome him. Sir, very, very warm welcome. Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi.
Jai Bhim, sir. Jai Bhim. How are you?
Good, 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 good. So you are connected with us from very far distance from USA. Yeah, nice to discuss this topic with you. Today's topic is how to uproot Brahminism and capitalism from Indian politics. You know, just without going into the detail of this topic, I would like to know that what is the relevance of this topic. If we go for the relevance, then was it relevant in the past? Is it relevant in the present time, and will it be relevant in the future? Is it a topic? I mean, I want to make some sense that whether this is an outdated topic or it is an evergreen topic. It is a current topic also, or what is the scenario? So kindly let us know. Yes.
Yes. There are two ideologies in a way which are present in this topic. One is Brahminism and other is capitalism.
Yes.
So if we have to talk about the relevance of these ideologies, uh, we have to spend some time in understanding their genealogy, their history, how they have evolved over a period of time,
Yes.
and what is their present nature. So I think if we look at the history of Brahminical ideology, Brahminism and
Yeah.
capitalism,
Yeah.
and if we do not go for too far in the past, say 1000 and 2000 years, but
Yeah.
if we trace the genealogy of last 200 years,
Yeah.
then both these ideologies have been very, very relevant in the past, Brahminism and capitalism,
Yeah.
for the simple reason that these ideologies were part of organizing social, political, and economic life.
Yeah.
And therefore, all those thinkers, ideologues who had commitment to human equality, human freedom, they
Yeah.
have in the past stood up against Brahminism and capitalism, and have spent
Right.
all their life and energies in fighting these two ideologies.
Yeah.
However, as a result of the fight which democratic people have had with Brahminism and capitalism, if
Yeah.
we trace the history of Brahminism and capitalism over last 200 years,
Yeah.
we might come to the conclusion that the nature of Brahminism and capitalism has transformed over a period of time. So although
Okay.
these ideologies remain very relevant because they still go on to structure distribution of resources, property, wealth, educational opportunities, job opportunities, and so on.
Yeah.
Yet the nature of Brahminism and nature of capitalism over
Yeah.
last 200 years,
Yeah.
as a result of the fight which our forefathers, democratic people, undertook against these ideologies, the
Yeah.
nature has changed. So, although these ideologies remain very relevant in terms of efforts and attempt to establish equality, to establish freedom, to establish fraternity, to have
Yeah.
democratic way of life, uh, the way the way out the question of the topic is framed. This topic is one question: how to uproot Brahminism.
Yeah.
Uh, so one way to approach this question is to ascertain the nature of Brahminism, to ascertain the nature of capitalism as it exists today, not
Yeah.
as it existed 200 years back.
Yeah.
So, in terms of relevancy, I would submit that it is very relevant, but the
Mm.
fight will be meaningful only if we fight the present nature of Brahminism, present nature of capitalism. We don't need to
Yes.
fight the ghost of Brahminism or capitalism as it existed 200 years back.
Yeah.
So relevance, yes, but I think we need to spend our time and energy in ascertaining the exact nature of present form of Brahminism, present form
Okay.
of capitalism, and what is it in these two ideologies of the present form which is problematic, and how do we then contest it in order to have a democratic egalitarian way of life.
Yeah, yeah. If we see the past and the current, you are saying. Also, there was. I want to just understand that will it be relevant in the future, or it is? I mean, what do you think? What is your expectation?
No, if we look at these ideologies as they exist today,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
we have to spend some time in finding out what is the exact nature of Brahminism and capitalism in Indian context or in the context of Indian subcontinent, right?
Yeah.
We cannot discuss. I think we cannot discuss these ideologies without, talking about the United States of India, which includes both Pakistan and Bangladesh, as Baba Saheb
Yeah.
used the word
Yeah.
in his book, State and the Minorities.
Yeah.
So, and therefore, its future relevance. The way
Hmm.
I understand Brahminism and capitalism, first some time on Brahminism, because that is
Yeah.
the key ideology of last 200 years. I
Yeah.
mean, the time frame in which I think we need to trace the mutation and transformation of Brahminism, at
Yeah.
least from the time of Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, from the time he
Yeah.
started the critique and how the critique evolved, how as a result of the critique of Brahminism by Phule, Ambedkar, Periyar, and our ancestors, how it changed, mutated over a period of time, and with the entry of capitalism, with the interaction with capitalism, how Brahminism acquired its present form and shape.
Yeah.
And that would make it relevant for the future struggle for democracy. So here I want to spend some time on Brahminism, in the sense that how do we understand the nature of Brahminism from its genealogy of last 150 200 years. I
Yeah.
would argue, and there is sufficient historical, sociological, political evidence as well as
Yeah.
argument today
Yeah.
that the Brahminism as it exists today in India, it has been co-constituted by Brahmin Savarna, Brahmin upper
Yeah.
caste, as
Yeah.
well as Sayyid Ashraf.
Yeah.
It is not the kind of Brahminism which was only interacting with, say, Brahmin, Banya, Rajput, the so-called Savarna, and then Shudra and
Yeah.
Atishudra. This is not the kind of Brahminism that we have anymore.
Hmm.
What has happened in last 150 years that it has also interacted with the ideology of what is known as Islamism, which was
Yeah.
taken up by Sayyid, Sheikh, and
Yeah.
Pathans.
Yeah.
Uh, so by the time, right after Mahatma Jyotiba Phule started his struggle, you
Yeah.
also have the Sir Syed Ahmad Khan and
Yeah.
the pan-Islamist. They also started articulating certain kind of vision, certain kind of principle for organizing society, which was very deeply undemocratic and very problematic.
Right.
Brahminism, as an escape from, say, the critique of Mahatma Jyotiba Phule and
Yeah.
the anti-caste democratic thinkers and scholars, ideologues,
Yeah.
it chose to very deeply interact with Islamism.
Yeah.
So the Islamism which Sayyid Ashraf were propagating, that is the image, the image of Islamism, what I also call Islamophilia, which Sayyid,
Yeah.
Sheikh, Pathans, etc., they try to impose on rest of the society.
Yeah.
Brahminic Savarna, the Brahmin, Banya, combined the Rajput and their allied caste,
Yeah.
they interacted and contested very fiercely against each other. A very bloody battle. They
Yeah.
together built up conditions from, say, 1880s, 1819 onwards. If we look at the history,
Yeah.
they together orchestrated very serious violence,
Yeah.
and the victims of violence were mostly the Bahujan,
Yeah.
What we know as the CST and OBC, or Dalit Pishra, Hati Pishra, Adivasi, Pasmanda, Bahujan. The
Yeah.
majority of the 85-90% population, they became
Yeah.
victim to the contestation between the Brahminism and Islamism, Brahmin
Yeah.
Savarna and Sayyid
And
Ashraf.
Islam. Yes.
Right. And it was violence. Actually, the effect of the violence was mostly felt by the Bahujan, cutting across
Yes.
religion.
Yeah.
The Bahujans were the victim, right?
Yeah.
So, and that violence that was scaled up. It was not, it was episodically performed, spectacular violence in the form of riots, say over cow protection
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
Tazia procession, Muharram procession, and Ganesh procession, and all
Yeah.
kinds of
Yeah. Yeah.
Ram Navami procession. That kind of violence was orchestrated by Brahmin, Savarna, and
Mm.
Sayyid Ashraf.
Right.
And they scaled it up gradually in the
Okay.
1910, 1920s, 1930s, 1940s. In fact, in 1920s, 1930s, Baba Sahib in his book Pakistan or the Partition of India, he
Yeah.
calls it that it was a virtual civil war, right? So
Okay.
Brahmin Savarna, he uses this word that this
Yeah. Yeah.
period 1920 and 30 is virtual civil war, which is
Mm.
Brahmin Savarna and Sayyid Ashraf. And Baba Sahib tells it clearly that there is no such thing as Hindu Muslim. It is through criminal violence, communal violence, that these elite caste, they are trying to produce Hindu Muslim, right? And they
Yeah.
scaled
Yeah.
it up to the level of partition. Now,
Right.
and so they kept on scaling it up. And it is
Mm.
in this process, the violence of partition was extraordinary. It was a spectacular violence. In
Yeah.
fact,
Yeah.
human beings have not seen this scale of violence during peacetime. It was
Yeah.
such a wide scale violence, and mostly Dalit, Pishra, Ati Pishra, Adivasi, Pasmanda, Bahujan, the Bahujan class,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
known as SC, OBC, cutting across religions, they fell victim to it. In this
Right.
process, Brahminism was recasted in the image of Islamism, right?
Oh.
You repeatedly find from Aurobindo Ghosh to Bal Gangadhar Tilak to Vivekanand to
Mm.
Savarkar, Golwalkar. If you look at the present form of Brahminism, they are
Mm.
molding it.
Mm.
Classical Brahminism is being molded in the image of Islamism,
Mm.
which Sayyid and Ashraf
Yeah.
were practicing.
Yeah.
Right? So you are remolding a Brahmin. It has been recasted. So today, now, as we after partition, and today it's 75 years of partition. When we talk of Brahminism, it is not the classical Brahminism whereby Varnashram system and caste hierarchy with reference to Vedas and
Mm.
Upanishads was there. What you have is the monotheism of Islamism,
Mm.
whereby one ideology, one form of worship, one god, one identity, etc., is superior to every other form of life. That
Mm.
is the image in which Brahminism has been recasted. In fact, there is a very important book written by Professor Anustu Basu. He
Mhm.
has titled the book as Political Monotheism. He has
Okay.
characterized the form of Brahminism and Hindutva as monotheism. And we know that
Monotheism.
monotheism is a concept from Islamism.
Islam. Okay.
So it is
Okay.
in the struggle with Islamism, basically. However, we cannot overlook the fact that both these struggles of Islamism and Brahminism, in which Brahminism and Hindutva were getting remolded,
Hmm.
subconscious, the underground was always suppression, exclusion, marginalization, and exploitation of the laboring classes, the working classes, the
Yeah.
Dalit, Pishra, Ati Pishra, Adivasi, Pasmanda, Bahujan. So they knew it at the back of their
Yeah.
mind
Yeah.
that if we do not get into the religious war, then the democratic claims of historically marginalized caste groups cutting
Yeah.
across religion, it will come on the surface. It will come off the
Right.
surface. People will start talking, and there were already talks, of course. Mahatma Jyotiba Phule was talking, Baba Sahib Ambedkar was talking, Abdul Qayyum Ansari Sahib was talking,
Yeah.
Periyar Sahib
Yeah.
was talking. So the demand and struggle was already there, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Therefore, they subconsciously knew that we have to make social discourse, political discourse all about religion
Right.
and Hindu Muslim. Unless
Yeah.
we make it about Hindu Muslim, the
It will.
majority is of the SC, ST, and OBC, cutting across
Yeah.
religion lines. It is
Yeah.
85%, 90%. right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
therefore, so this is why you see, for last so many decades, post partition especially, you will not find Brahmins, Savarna saying that, well, if you do not respect my authority, if you do not
Hmm.
respect my superiority, you will be made untouchable. You know, in
Hmm.
classical Brahminism, this was the strategy of organizing. You do not
Right.
follow, consider me to be superior, you will be excommunicated, you will be
Yeah.
outcasted, and then
Outcast.
you will be made untouchable. Now, what
Yeah.
is the strategy that Brahminical forces adopt today? They don't say we will make you untouchable. They say we will
Hmm.
make you Muslim, right?
Hmm. Yes. Yes.
Because
Yes.
they are very conscious that it is the Islamism which they are practicing. It is the monotheism
Right.
of Islamism and that kind of a supremacist monotheistic ethos.
Yeah.
In fact, Savarkar, if you read Savarkar, Savarkar says that so many times we have to be like Muslims. Muslim meaning thereby the Sayyid, Ashraf, the Pathans who were very organized and
Hmm.
very fierce and very violent. He says we have to be that violent. He clearly say,
Oh.
he does not say that we have to exclude Shudra, Ati Shudra. No, he is not talking about at all.
Hmm.
The whole Hindutva ideological spectrum, from
Hmm.
Aurobindo Ghosh to Tilak to Savarkar to Vivekanand to Golwalkar, they're not talking
Yeah.
about JSC. We have to separate Shudra. In fact, Savarkar is saying we have to organize. You have to abolish
Yes.
caste. We have to abolish caste, and we have to unite all castes and religions against the Muslims, and we have to become like Muslims, which means
Hmm.
basically Muslimness
Aggressive.
means,
Hmm.
Muslimness means what? Muslimness means the way Sayyids and Sheikhs, the Pathans, the way they used to impose their communalism, their casteism,
Communism.
their patriarchy, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
is in
Hmm.
that fashion that Brahminism has been casted. Now,
Okay. Okay.
right, so that
Yeah.
this is an ideology, therefore it remains very, 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 very relevant for future fight also. If we want
Okay. Yeah.
the the liberty, equality, fraternity which Baba Sahib proposed in the preamble, in his work, in his life, in his writings, we have to take
Okay.
on Brahminism, but we have to be clear what is this Brahminism that we are fighting.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
not
Yeah. Yeah.
classical
Yeah.
Brahminism anymore. We have
Yes.
to
Yes.
join the dots together, and we have to fight out the present form of Brahminism. Right? We,
Right.
we,
Right.
we can't fight the Brahminism as it existed 1000 year back or 2000 year
Yeah.
back.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. So at least we have got the, we have got to know that, it was relevant in the past, it is relevant in the present, and it will remain. Yeah, just correlating to the Baba Sahib statement that the history of India, yeah, is nothing but, the struggle between the Brahminism and then Bahujans or Mulnivasi ideology. Yeah, that is the struggle between the two Brahminical ideology and the Mulnivasi ideology or the
Yeah, yeah. Brahminism and
indigenous people
Buddhism.
ideology.
Talks about
Yeah,
Brahminism
but
and
yeah,
Buddhism.
Brahminism and Buddhism. That's another way of calling it. Yeah. So it was there. It is currently, and of course, it will remain because this is a counterpart of that one. Whenever one part will become stronger, other will be, going against that one. So, okay. The main question here remains then. Now coming to the subject today, that how to uproot Brahminism and capitalism. Before coming to how to uproot, just in a very, very brief, very, few sentences, I want to know why we need really to uproot the Brahminism and capitalism. What is the problem with it? What is the need of the uprooting it? Brahminism and capitalism in few words.
Uh, yeah, well, one can talk about Brahminism. Of course, I would like to talk about the need, but some time on capitalism also. I mean, there are two concepts in the topic: Brahminism and capitalism. How the nature of
Yeah.
capitalism has also changed. You know, it
Yes.
is not the same capitalism against which Karl Marx was arguing, say, 200 years
Yeah.
back when he was writing.
Yeah.
The nature of capitalism has also changed as a
Yeah.
result of the fight that Marxist and democratic people have had. Capitalism, nature of capitalism has also changed. So it is not the same capitalism which existed 200 years back.
Yeah.
You have far more serious changes, and not every aspect of capitalism is something to be completely destroyed, right?
Right.
uh, Certain aspect of capitalism which have been combined with socialism after its humanization and influence of socialism. Certain aspect of it is can be retained and must be retained. So even with capitalism, we have to understand what is it in capitalism that we need to fight out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this aspect of capitalism, which tries to concentrate property, wealth, and resources in the hands of very few people, and which
Yes.
create extraordinary inequality.
Yes.
So at present, Thomas Piketty is a serious professor of economics from France. He has done extensive study of last 100 years, and the
Yeah.
data suggests that at present we are living at the highest kind of inequality in human history.
Yes.
It is
Correct.
this aspect of capitalism that needs to be fought against, rather than completely overthrowing capitalism and trying to impose some kind of communism as it existed in Russia, USSR.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
don't want to go back to that kind of a USSR socialism. A socialism, capitalism, a socialism, a combination of it, whereby inequality does not increase too much, freedoms are not curtailed, and dignity of individual as well as groups is also maintained. Similarly, with Brahminism, the present form of Brahminism, which is promoting a very vulgar form of exclusion from
Hmm.
resources, from property, from wealth, as well
Education.
as
Yeah.
yeah, segregate,
Yeah.
and it is also promoting violence, communal violence, caste violence, patriarchal violence, as and it is also creating systematic mediocrity. This aspect
Yes.
is very important about the present form of Brahminism,
Yes.
because it seeks to concentrate educational resources, property, wealth, and other opportunities for social progress and mobilization. What happens
Yeah.
is that the Brahmin, Savarna, as well as Sayyid Ashraf have their own got their own cocoons. Say they promote
Yeah.
madrasa system, they promote hijab system, burqa system, they
Yeah.
promote minority educational system. So these two, the Brahmin Savarna and the Sayyid Ashraf, taken together, they themselves have become the one of the world's most mediocre people. Their
Hmm.
creativity is totally gone.
Yeah.
They have become very violent,
Hmm.
very violent, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very serious problem to Brahmin Savarna and Sayyid Ashraf themselves, number one.
Okay.
Then the vast majority of people, when they are systematically and structurally excluded from the fruits of, say, education, modernity, the health benefits, contemporary resources, democratic resources, then as a country also we go down.
Hmm.
The whole Indian
Yeah.
subcontinent is collapsing under the weight of these two, Brahmin Savan and Sayyid Ashraf, collapsing under their undemocratic, anti-social, anti-human
Yes.
ideology.
Yes.
Right? So therefore, we have to fight it out. Both Brahminism and capitalism, the
Hmm.
parts of capitalism which are creating inequality, which are creating unfreedom, which are creating exploitation, and part of Brahminism which is creating inequality, hierarchy, violence, as well as mediocrity. It's a
Hmm.
mediocrity,
Yeah.
systematic and structural mediocrity that present form of Brahminism, as well as certain aspects of
Yeah.
present form of
Yeah.
capitalism, they promote. One needs
Yeah.
to fight them out in future, as
Okay,
present and
okay,
future.
yeah, yeah. So it's yeah, we understood the problems related to this Brahmanism and capitalism. Now coming to the solution part, yeah, that how to uproot this, yeah, that is the very
Yes.
very important thing because everybody want to know the solution of that, yeah.
Yeah. This is a very important aspect now. Once we understand that the present form of Brahmanism as well as capitalism, uh, they have been co-constituted. It has been co-constituted by two set of socially powerful socially
Yeah,
powerful resourceful groups, which are numerically very inferior in terms of number. If we add all the Brahminic Savarna as well as Sayyid Ashraf
yeah,
together, they will not be more than 10%, probably less
yes,
than
yes,
10%.
less
We
than
need caste
10%.
census to find it out.
Yes.
Now, so they are the ones who are perpetuating this kind of ideology. They have to
Yeah.
be fought jointly. They have to be seen as joint force against democracy. Brahminic Savarna and Islamophilic Ashraf, they have to be taken together as a problem. They
Hmm.
together constitute Brahminism. So they are together the adversaries of constitutional democracy, liberal democracy. And the fight is to be also organized. Those who want to fight, that also will be organized, cutting across religions. So
Hmm.
the old idiom of fighting, say there is one form of Brahminism in Hinduism, and therefore we need to fight the Brahmin Savarna there, and the so-called there is religious minority, and therefore we need to add them to our side, and then fight Brahminism. Once we understand that it is not the religious phenomena, all kinds of religious ideologies have been deployed by Brahmin Savarna and Sayyid Ashraf to legitimize caste.
Yes.
The history of caste, of Sayyid Ashraf caste supremacy, uh, it goes to 1000 years back. It's not a recent
Yeah.
phenomenon, right?
Right.
So
Right.
it is not a religious phenomena. It is a social phenomena. It's a political phenomena. It's a cultural phenomena. It's a matter of power. So those
Yeah.
who are to be organized, they are also to be organized across religion. There is only one minority in the country, one minority, which is upper caste cutting across religions. So
Right.
Brahmin Savarna, Sayyid Ashraf, that is one. And there is only one majority, which is SC, ST, OBC cutting across religions.
Yes.
Bahujan, irrespective of the religion. So Bahujan may have many religions. Bahujan
Yes.
will have many castes. Bahujan will have many
Yes.
faith traditions. Bahujan will be, and this minority of upper caste will also be one small block. We cannot differentiate that religious minority and converted minority and not converted minority. That kind of
No.
a
No. No.
differentiation, I think,
Yeah.
is a very problematic strategy.
Yeah.
We have to look at say we have to look at, say, Savarkar and Maududi and Jinnah and Gandhi and similar. So we have to look at the Brahmin Savarna Sayyid Ashraf together as constituting present
Hmm.
form of Brahminism, and we have to look at Phule, Ambedkar, Ansari, Periyar and their resources together. There is no
Yes.
minority here, or majority religious minority. We have
No.
Pasmanda movement now today, which
Yeah.
has in a way completed the Bahujan discourse.
Yeah.
So, the Bahujan discourse in a way for a very long time, SC, ST, OBC, and those converted from a
Convert
religious
minority.
minority converted.
Yeah.
That was a very serious problem,
Yeah.
because it Brahminism has been co-constituted, cutting across
Yeah.
religion. We need
Yes.
a counter Bahujan, Mulnivasi Bahujan ideology, as well as organization, which is also cutting across religions. So
Yes.
Pasmanda is 90% of, say, what is presented as Muslim minority. It is 90%. Once we
Yeah.
bring Pasmanda,
Hmm.
so in the Bahujan fold, we have brought the majority of what is supposed to be the minority. So the vocabulary of majority minority
Yes.
has to be completely defeated. It is Sayyid
Yeah.
Ashraf maintained, as well as Brahmin Savarna. They jointly maintain it. They have
Yeah.
put it in the constitution.
Hmm.
They put it in the constitution so that others can be fooled.
Right.
Although who is minority? The Brahmin Savarna, Brahminic Savarna, and Islamophilic Ashraf, they together are minority, 10%.
They are
Who is the
minority. Yeah.
majority? SC, ST, OBC cutting across is
Yes.
the majority, right?
Correct.
So I
Yeah.
think in terms of political strategy, we need
Hmm.
to transform our political strategy in the light of the changes which have taken place in Brahminism
Hmm.
and certain aspects of capitalism with which they have
Yeah.
aligned very closely. So we need to promote some form of socialism which cuts across caste and religious boundaries, of subordinated caste cutting across religious boundaries, making religion a completely private affair,
Yes.
group affair,
Person.
whereby
Yeah.
hardly there is any question about a religious
Mm,
difference, religious practices in the sense of worship, or people have all kinds of worship.
okay.
Nobody has any
Yes.
problem in US.
No.
I see
Correct.
people going to church, and mosque is there.
Whoever want
People
to
are
what? Yeah.
that
Yeah.
doesn't really matter in terms of
Yes.
black fight against white supremacism. You
Right.
find all kinds of religious groups coming together and fighting it out for
Sir,
democracy.
coming to the one more question here, that
Yes.
but who will uproot this? I mean, we talk the ideologically that to how to uproot this Brahminism and capitalism, but the question is that who will uproot, who will come into the picture, that is because the people need to understand it. Is the individual is going to do it, or is there is
Oh,
a organization who is going to unite them and fight together in a night, calling 90%,
yes, yes, it is not an individual fight, though
Hmm.
individuals put together. Baba Sahib in caste in India has written that it is idiotic, foolish to believe that their individual exists outside of the class. Individual is always a member of the class. So there is a Bahujan
Right.
class and there
Yeah.
is an Alpajan class. I
Yeah.
call
Bahujan
Alpajan.
and
It's
Alpajan. Yeah.
Bahujan
Yeah.
versus Alpajan. Bahujan
Yeah.
will fight. Individual cannot fight. As an
Yeah.
individual, we do take inspiration from Mahatma Phule, what I call Phule, Ambedkar, Ansari, Periyar quartet. We take
Yes.
is those individuals who come together in the Bahujan formation, taking inspiration from Bahujan thinkers, ideologues, scholars, activists, and those who
Yeah.
have the courage to take on the Alpajan, this
Yeah.
minority, this
Minority.
minority of upper caste cutting across religion. And that
Yeah.
would, I think, in my humble opinion, I think it will herald a new era of progress, freedom, equality, democracy in the entire Indian subcontinent.
Hmm.
Once we start beating Albijan, of course, our when we say we want to fight and beat, it is not the criminal sense, right? Ours
No,
is
no,
a
yeah.
democratic battle, as
Yeah.
Bahujan.
Democratic battle. Correct. Correct.
Ours is a
But
democratic
but
battle. We do not want to subordinate them like they have subordinated us, but we want to humanize them. We want to
okay.
humanize Alpijan. We want to democratize Alpijan. The Alpijan needs to become more humane. They need to end their patriarchy, their casteism, their communalism, their mediocrity. They have to become better
Oh.
human beings. They have to become more creative human beings. And us, the Bahujan, those who believe in Bahujan ideology, those who take inspiration from Bahujan ideologues, they will come together as a class, as a group, not
Hmm.
as an individual. I cannot fight.
Yeah.
This is too strong an ideology and too strong a formation. Alpajan has all the property, wealth, resources, education, institutional kind of control. No individual can fight it out alone. It is impossible. So we have to
So
join BAMSEF and its wings and different organizations that have organized within Bahujan on the basis of Bahujan ideology, and with the ambition of establishing constitutional democracy, expanding constitutional democracy. I think that group, the Bahujan group alone as a class, can defeat the Alpijan totalitarian, fascist, undemocratic, inegalitarian,
so
neoliberal
so
capitalism
So in
as
this
it exists
regard,
today.
then, in this regard, is there some work going on the ground level? Is there any organization which is working for this kind of cause? Is there a reality? Is there some real work going on the ground level? Do you see any kind of prospect here? Is there
At
something
present,
happening?
there are many. BAMSEF is one of the leading, in a way, I would say, ideologically, one of the most clear organizations which has tried to expand in the form of, say, Makkam is also, I'm part of Makkam,
Hmm.
Employees Association is there. Then All India Pasmanda Mahaz as part of Pasmanda group. You also have many Ati Pichra groups. We have backward groups
Hmm.
organizing socially.
Okay.
Most of these are social groups. Intellectually, I can see Forward Press is organizing very well in
Hmm.
terms of backward scholarship, writing and
Hmm.
thinking. I see
Okay.
Roundtable India, which is an
Hmm.
Ambedkarite platform, doing very well in different languages, especially in English.
Hmm.
So at present, there are different currents going on. Politically,
Okay.
PPI is very important, new kind of political expression. So it is not
Okay.
in one dimension that one needs to fight. Both social, cultural, educational, political, all dimensions. Fight has to be in all dimensions. But
Yes.
what I see is that bringing it together, it has to be
Yeah.
brought together under one Bahujan umbrella. Of course, different
Yeah.
organizations can exist simultaneously, but
But yeah.
some level of bringing together of all these organizations which are divided at present among different caste groups or hierarchical groups, that who believe and follow the Bahujan ideology, but
Yeah.
very segregated manner, very individualistic manner. I think that needs to end, and it needs we all need to come together as one
Hmm.
Bahujan class to establish freedom, equality, liberty, and democracy in the entire Indian subcontinent. What Baba Sahib used to call United States of India. That is what we
Ah.
need to
Okay. Okay.
establish. United
Right.
States
Right.
of India, to establish United States of India from Sindh to Hind, you know,
Okay. Yes.
from
Yes.
the border of Sindh to Hind, we have to
Yes.
come together with the democratic contemporary socialist ideology,
Hmm.
which is progressive ideology, and jointly launch a democratic battle against the Albion, not some kind of a fascist or these groups keep on promoting in the name of Hindu state or in the name of Islamic state. not that kind of a totalitarian, fascist, criminal ideology, but democratic ideology, which we have inherited. Our ancestors have uh,
Yes, yes, yes.
given,
We have it.
bestowed that tradition to us, which is very
Yeah.
democratic, very humane, very egalitarian.
Yes,
So
yes,
we have
yes.
to come together as part of Bahujan formation.
Yeah. So I come to I come to know from you that you are saying that in the ground level, it's already the work is going on. It's not going in the one dimension. It's a multi-dimension. Either it's a social, political, it's cultural, it's economical. In the all fields, you are working. Either it's for the and not only is a regional based. You are saying that it's going, through the nation, throughout the nation. It's all over the India. It's happening. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Every
So
part of India, every region, every part from Kerala to Kashmir. I can tell you, Kashmir people, Bahujan Pasmanda groups fighting from Kashmir. How Sayyid
yeah,
Ashraf have created a situation, a problematic situation, and Brahminics have created a problematic situation there. So from
right.
Kashmir to Kerala to Kanyakumari to far
Kanyakumari.
end of Gujarat, I have spent so much time in Gujarat, to the far end of
Great.
Odisha, where I have spent a lot of time, as to central India, every region. And this is why you see the tempo on Hindu Muslim going high.
Yes,
You know,
yes, yes,
when these upper castes, these Albjans are cornered when they see that, democratic pressure is coming from different sides of the Bahujan group. They
yeah.
start playing Hindu Muslim, and try to make everyone, either you are a Hindu or a Muslim. What nonsense! You are all of it.
Yes, yes,
And none.
yes, yes, yes.
We,
So
we,
I mean, you are
we,
saying
we,
that the current of the revolution or the speed of the revolution is going very
It's
fast.
going very fast.
Yeah,
It
uh,
is going very fast, and it is because it is going very fast. All over Indian subcontinent, I am aware of the movements
yeah,
going on in Pakistan as well as in Bangladesh. This is
yeah.
why the tempo, the pitch of Hindu Muslim is being raised again and again, in order to reduce you and me
Again,
only to,
anti-revolutionary. Yeah,
right,
anti-revolution of the
anti-revolutionary.
revolution.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think we are at the end of the discussion. At the end, I would like to know that what the message you would like to say to our people. We the people of India. What message you want to give to them? Yeah, for listeners.
Okay, one aspect, I would say that it is also profoundly a knowledge battle, in a way that, in the field of knowledge,
Yeah,
especially social sciences and law. In fact,
yeah,
I'll put law before social science together. This is
yeah.
a field where we, different sections of Bahujan class, need to uh, enter legal education and social sciences education in a very big way. What I have seen is that, somehow, members of Bahujan class have not taken legal education and social science education as seriously as we should have taken.
Okay,
Because you see, democracy, after all, uh, whatever social and political movements in which we might succeed, it has to be translated into legal language for the purpose
right.
of implementation. And therefore
Implementation.
we need our army of lawyers, jurists, law professors, thinkers, who are also very well informed in social sciences. I mean, the model
Yeah,
is Baba Sahib.
right.
Model is Baba Sahib. He first mastered variety of social sciences here at Columbia University, where I am at
Yeah,
present. And then he went on to study law. He combined social science with law, and then he started his activism and all kinds of social, political, intellectual, cultural interventions. And look at the
yeah,
impact,
yeah,
because
yeah.
he was combination of strong social science traditions and very strong legal tradition, and he could see much ahead of anyone else, who was there at his time. And
Yes,
therefore,
yes.
within the Bahujan class, Pasmanda, Pichra, what is Adivasi,
Right,
SC, ST, OBC, cutting across the religions, legal education and social science education. We need to train our best students, those who
right.
score highest marks in 10th, 12th, boards. They
Yeah.
need to go for legal education and social science
Social.
education. And
Okay,
from
okay.
there, an intellectual capacity for revolutionary energy, will be generated. We
Right,
need,
right.
every second member, or I would say every member, needs to become what Baba Sahib was,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
social
yeah,
science and legal education with profound philosophical tradition, and then take it,
yeah.
because it's not an easy battle. Our
Right,
adversaries
right,
may
right.
be
Yeah,
less in number, they
yeah,
may be
yeah,
less
yeah.
in number, but
Yeah.
Their cultural capital, their educational capital, their financial capital, their property capital is huge. The
Right.
proportion,
So,
the latest report which says is that 10% of the this whole high upper caste people cutting across religions, the Alpijan, have control over 80% property and wealth. This is
right.
empirical data.
Empirical. Yeah.
Empirical
Yeah. Yeah.
data. It is not. The
Yeah.
report is available on the website, authored by
Yeah. Yeah.
Arvind Kumar and Thomas Piketty
I
and
think
variety
what
of
you
others.
were saying right now, what you were saying that I mean, for legal aspect, I have heard,
Legal.
I have heard that, nowadays the all versions of the all the states, they are forming, they are uniting, and there is just some training going on the
Yeah.
national level, to unite the Bahujan Mul Nivasi legal cell, legal,
Yes. Yes.
to fight the legal battles. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
if it is
Yeah.
happening, that's a good news for our
It is
movement. I
happening.
think, yeah,
I'm aware, even in the field of legal education, especially in Hyderabad, I know there are Bahujan groups, and in UP, many groups. I'm aware of Telangana, I'm aware of Kerala, I'm aware of Gujarat. So
yeah,
movements are still there, but we need to take it as a central plank of central agenda of Bahujan movement, which is legal and social science education. It
right,
has to be,
yes,
the central
yeah,
subject on the agenda of the Bahujan movement, because it is through
right,
legal and social science education that our generation and succeeding generations will be able to carry the flag of Bahujan movement and beat the Albijan in 10, 12,
right,
20
right,
years, rather than science or technical education. That is also, I'm
yes,
not
yes,
saying,
yes,
I'm not agreeing
correct,
science and technical education.
yes,
I'm
yes,
saying that for the purposes of revolution, it is necessary,
yes,
democratic revolution
mm-hmm.
that we are, Bahujan revolution that we are thinking of. Legal and social science education has become very, very important for the time being now.
I think it's a great message, sir. That is what I was, I learned from you that is really, really a great message for us, but for the listeners, whoever is listening. I think it will go to the society, it will go into the all strata of our Bahujan Mul Nivasi. Thank you so much for joining today, taking time and discussing this very important topic. Thank you so much, Javim Jamul Nivasi. We will
You're
finish that.
welcome. Thank you so much, Javim Jamal.
Yeah. Friends, so you were watching the MNT News Network. Tomorrow again at the same 8:30 p.m. you will have new subjects. So please do watch every day this MNT News Network. With this we will end the program. Jai Bhim, Jai Manvasi, Jai Shri Ram.
MNT न्यूज नेटवर्क को सब्सक्राइब करें, लाइक और फॉलो करना ना भूलें। साथ ही बेल आइकॉन दबाकर जन जागृति की मुहिम में जुड़े रहें।